Let's begin this conversation first taking our quote from an anonymous who once said that don't take Salah as a burden. Allah gifted us Salah as a relief from burden. All right, we'll take our next quote, and this one says, Salah, the only place where you can find peace. Okay, my next one says, no matter what you do in this life, never miss your Salah. And the last one I'll be taking also from an anonymous who said that sins take you away from Allah, but Salah takes you back to Allah. Very well, greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from KAFTAN Television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm talking about Salah today. Most definitely we'll be talking about the Eid al-Fitr celebration, even though it was thought that it was supposed to be today, but then it was shifted and it moved to tomorrow. That's Wednesday, that's tomorrow, starting from tomorrow. So it means that today, in Tuesday, our Muslim brothers and sisters are still fasting or ending their fast. So my guest on the show today to help us understand all of this plus more is Sheikh Nuru Khalid, who is a Muslim cleric. It's great to have you on the show again today, sir.
Thank you.
It has been a long time I've seen you. How has Nigeria been treating you?
No. I'm enjoying myself in Nigeria despite the situation.
Great. I like to hear that. All right, now let's go straight to our conversation for today. But we'll start with the Ramadan fast. How far has it been? I heard that today is the last day, the 30th day. So since day 1 to day 30, how has it been? I'm sure you must have been having this Ramadan lecture and all that you discussed during the Ramadan lecture. How has it been so far? And then I think one of them is tafsir, right? So how's it been so far?
So far, so good.
Okay.
Yesterday, I concluded my tafsir.
Oh, okay.
Hoping that we are going to have Salah today, although I'm aware that it's going to be difficult for us to do Salah today.
Oh, how so?
Because of the technological advancement and research I made and some explanation from the moon sighting committee of the Sultan. I have heard about what they have made their own research, and it is clear that it won't be Salah today.
Okay.
So, and the tafsir was so fine because we use it to educate and enlighten people, Nigerians in particular, to know what is their obligation towards the Almighty, the society, and we call upon those in the above, those in the authority, to provide for Nigerians good governance and remove Nigeria from the economic hardship and the hunger that is trying to bubble the society. As for the Ramadan, the activities of Ramadan in this year is unique.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm more than 60. I'm 60 plus, but I haven't experienced a Ramadan where people are crying, trying to survive, trying to get what to break their fast with. But Alhamdulillah, we have made some effort in providing for those whom we can reach, whom our hands can reach them. We supported them under our organization, Islamic Research, and our foundation. And there are many well-to-do Nigerians in many places. Even some governors did it, give palliatives to people. But the unfortunate thing is that in the course of receiving palliatives, some Nigerians lost their lives.
Yeah.
And this is alarming. This is, something which we must reflect over and over, again and again, so that we know that we have to do something in this country.
I agree with you. All right, now talking about the fasting, I'm going to ask you two questions and I'd like you to take them together. What exactly is the benefit of the Ramadan fast, especially to that Muslim brother or sister? That's one on the side. And then secondly, we got reports saying that especially in Kano State, if people were being caught if they are not fasting, that as the Hizbar court took people who they found out they were not fasting. So is it mandatory or compulsory that everyone should fast? And if you do not fast, is there a punishment to it from person and then from God?
Okay, the first question is about the benefit of Ramadan. If we are to look at the benefit of Ramadan, we have to look at it from two dimensions.
Okay.
The first fold is the benefit of fasting for the individual.
Okay.
And the second one for the society. The benefit of fasting for the individual is spiritual and physical.
Okay.
The spiritual is that is increasing your faith, your righteousness, your piousness, your piety. It takes you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you become godly, you become more godly if you are fasting. And the physical aspect of it is increasing your health, because you'll become more healthier when you control your diet. So it's just like dieting. Now, for the society, it reduces crime, it reduces social vices, because people are more godly, people are more committed to the Lord, and therefore they increase that kind generosity, that kindness, that forgiveness, that love, that charity. So the society will be feeling, yes, something is happening, especially if they really fast. Because when you really fast, from the Islamic perspective, you must control your tongue.
Ah, okay.
So if one of the things that are baffling the society, that are worrying the society, is our tongue, our lack of control in what we say. If that is controlled, then we have little or no false news and information, and that will be good for the society.
Right.
And that quarreling is going to be less, because if I control my tongue, I will not abuse you, and you will not retaliate. So that is the benefit in the social setup.
All right, so then we talk about Hizbar, where they said that if you don't fast,
That's
especially
the
in Kano, if
second
you're caught.
question.
Yes,
The second question. Is there any punishment? Or is it mandatory? That's where we begin.
Okay.
It is mandatory upon a Muslim to fast.
Okay.
But he must be healthy. A sick Muslim is not mandatory upon him to fast. Likewise, a traveler.
Okay.
And a woman under her cycle, a woman that is in her cycle,
that's menstrual period.
Menstrual period, she will not, it is haram, it is forbidden for her even to fast.
Oh, okay.
And also a woman who is observing postnatal bleeding also is forbidden for her to fast. Now, aged person, it's not mandatory for him to fast.
Okay.
So you can see there are exemptional.
Mm.
Then if there is exemptional, for example, somebody who is a traveler, he has a choice.
Mm.
On a journey from Calabar to Abuja. Now, if I'm not careful, I say I want to punish somebody who is not fasting, and I meet somebody eating, and he's a traveler, what am I saying? He's exempted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and me now I'm punishing him.
Mm.
And it is not mandatory for a non-Muslim to fast. Therefore, he has to eat. Whoever is not fasting must eat. You can't prevent him from eating. So I think what the Hizbah did was to punish those who are Muslims and they refuse to fast.
Okay.
Not for them, not the punishment is not because they refuse to fast, but because they are eating in public.
Okay, so that's two different things. If you don't want to fast, you can eat at home.
Yes, of course.
But not in the public.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you are not caught eating in the public, no one will punish you. But for you to pronounce that you are a Muslim and you are not fasting, if there is a Sharia government, you are liable to be punished.
Okay.
But for a non-Muslim can eat publicly. No. Nobody has the right to deny him that right. He is not a Muslim. You can't force him. If you force somebody, not a non-Muslim, even to hide himself while eating, you are going contrary to the text of the Quran, which says no compulsion in Islam. No one can force you to be a Muslim or to practice a rite or rituals of Islam.
Great. Thank you so much for helping us to understand all that. All right, so we actually saw a video of a Muslim lady who was almost fainting. In fact, she fainted, and when she was poured water and resuscitated, and then they gave her malt to drink, but she said no, that she's fasting, she will not be able to take it. Is that okay? Is it okay for her to say she was almost, in fact, she fainted, and then she was resuscitated, and then she was asked to take something and break her fast, but she said no, she's fasting. Is that fine?
She was not right.
Okay.
Her act is contrary to 3 places in the Quran. 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you are sick or on a journey, you repay in other days.
Okay.
2nd, the Quran said, do not render yourself to danger, or do not, and the other place, do not kill yourself, because the Lord is merciful to you. Why should somebody punish himself or try to kill himself while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you are sick, do not fast. You repay in some other time. Why should somebody endanger his life when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saying, do not kill yourself or do not endanger your life? We worship Allah to live, not to die.
Right.
So I think she needs to be educated.
Okay, now speaking of that education, I will ask you 2 questions again. I'd like you to take them together. What kind of education do people get in their, when they go for their kill, that's their Muslim school, that's the one they call ile kill, right? And then what kind of education, like this kind of education, is that what they are being told? Because if she did that, it means that maybe what she was told is that she has to complete her fasting, even though it was detrimental to her health at the time. Like you already said, she was supposed to stop because it was wrong. So what kind of education do people get when they go to their go to the Muslim communities, go to Nasfat rather, go to their Lekil and all? And then secondly, when is the right time for her to complete that fasting? Because I hear you say if she doesn't finish it at that time, she can take it another time. So it means that even when after the 30 days of Ramadan fasting, she can come back again and do those days. Is that what it means?
Yeah. Let me start with the last question.
Okay.
She has 11 months to repay. We have 12 months in a year. Using the Islamic calendar, Ramadan is one of the 12 months. So if you miss for any reason 1 day or 2 days, you can pay at your convenience, at your convenient time.
Okay, anytime.
Anytime within the 11 months.
Okay.
Now, the type of education people are getting, sometimes we try to memorize the Quran, teach children at the beginning of their life to memorize the recitation of the Quran. And you know, the Quran is an Arabic book. So trying to climb, to memorize the Arabic context of the Quran will take some time. Maybe without even knowing what you are memorizing.
Right.
That is where a lot of Muslims become ignorant of the deen, of the religion. There are some who introduce other courses in the Islamia, like jurisprudence of the Sharia, understanding the Sharia, the traditions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it's not much, or it's not enough. So that is why you find many Muslims are ignorant of the law, despite the fact that they can read the Quran, but they can't explain what they are reading.
They're reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, is it actually wrong to memorize or cram the dictates of the Quran?
No, it's not sin. The most important thing is to know what you are doing.
Okay.
Because in the Quran, the Almighty emphasize on education more than anything. Because the first revelation revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is read. That is to give emphasis on knowledge. And you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Know that there is no deity worthy of being worshipped except Allah. Then seek the forgiveness of Allah. Now, the first thing to do is to know.
Okay. And
that is an emphasis on the importance of knowledge. There is another challenge that is facing Muslims when knowledge of the religion is considered. You know, we are in between two knowledge. The first one is the so-called Western or Westernized knowledge and the Islamic knowledge. We need this one to be compliance of this universe, of the globalization, to be part of the world, you need to know this Western education. And you want this education. And because of the material that is attached to the former one, or later one, the first one, that's the Western education, people are so inclined to it more than the Islamic studies.
Okay.
And that makes it difficult for many people to understand very well the religion of Islam.
All right, we are due for a break, but before we go on that break, because you talked about education, the Western education and the Islamic education, let me ask you, I hear some lawyers come out to say or remind people or Nigerians that we only have one law in Nigeria, and that is the Constitution. But then if you go to some other states, especially the Sharia states, you have the Islamic law. So, and then they come out to tell you, some lawyers will say that in everything, the Constitution will definitely stand. So I'm going to ask you, as a Muslim cleric, when there is a discrepancy, should we turn to the Constitution or the dictate on the principles of the Islamic laws, especially when it's happening in the Sharia states?
Well, let me say that if someone says that we only have one law in Nigeria, I don't think he's talking from his profession. Because even in America, you find a law which is peculiar to a state. It's not applicable to other states.
Right.
But they have one constitution. That will be applicable to Nigeria. That a law can be enacted in the FCT that is not applicable to Kano State. And a law could be enacted in Kano State that could not be applicable in Katsina State. So that is how we're supposed to look at the issue of having a Sharia state in another state. And another state, there is no Sharia in the state. But the problem that we are going to face in doing that is the supremacy of the Constitution.
Okay.
Because if you say, if there is discrepancy, what are we going to take? Is it the Constitution or the Qur'an? According to Islam, kalimatullahi hiya al-ulya. Words of Allah is above anything. And when you look at it from that context, you give the supremacy to the Quran instead of giving it to the Constitution. That is where the problem stands. And it must be addressed in as much as we want to have a one Nigeria. We must sit down and discuss the issue of supremacy of the Constitution. Right. Because if you look at the Constitution, Section 1, subsection 3, if I'm not mistaken, that anything, any law, any tradition, anything that is contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria is null and void.
Null and void.
So that is where the issue comes.
I hear you say it's, and that's where the issue, or that's where the problem comes. Is it a good problem, Sheikh Khalid?
Well, it's not a good problem.
Okay.
And it's not very bad.
Okay. All right, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Sheikh Nuru Khalid, who is the Digital Imam. I'll see you later. Join us again. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've actually missed out on the first segment of the show, but then you can still join in the second segment because I still have my guest, Sheikh Nuru Khalid, who is a Muslim cleric, and he is referred or popularly referred to as the Digital Imam. All right, before we went on that break, we've actually talked about quite a number of things, but now let's talk about Salah. Let's talk about the fact that it's supposed to be today again, is now moved to tomorrow. Now, I heard a colleague of mine said that there's a technology rather that they use to sight the moon, but there are still some people who are the traditional people who would say no, they don't know about the technology and all. Because I know that you're the digital imam, so you are abreast with that, all of that. Kindly tell us about this technology where you can actually use that to know if today is supposed to be Salah or tomorrow.
You know, there are softwares that you can use, even you in your computer. You download the software and you observe the movement of the moon,
okay,
and the sun. And you can, by the use of that software, you can predict when the moon should be sighted, exactly at what hour.
And it's always accurate?
Accurate.
Okay.
99.9% accurate. Because perfection and accuracy is for the Lord. And also, if you are an astronomer, if you study astronomy, you will understand the movement of the sun and the movement of the moon. And you will understand from it, even if you read the Qur'an without all these two, without the technology, without the astronomy studies, you can, if you read the Qur'an very well and understand it, you will understand what the astronomers are saying. Because according to the study of the Quran and explanation of the tafsir, you find that the moon has 28 stages in every month. It will appear in the 28 days, or nights rather, and will not be visible for one night.
Oh, okay.
That is to make it a 30 days. And it must be invisible for one night.
Okay.
It could not be complete one night. And that is how they calculate it, to know that the next month is going to be 30 or is going to be 29.
Oh.
According to lunar calendar, there is no Libya and there is no 31 days month. So it is through mathematical order and understanding, you will understand what they are saying. But still, there are local people, as you said, or we can call them ignorant people, who don't understand any knowledge. They will say you must sight it with your bare eyes. They don't encourage technology. If you look at those people, what they are trying to tell you is that you can't believe that you have malaria if you don't see it with your naked eyes.
Oh, wow.
And that is impossible. So we have to believe in technology and we have to promote it because it is life.
Great, great, awesome. All right, so I heard some other persons say that the reason why it was shifted was because of the eclipse of the sun that happened yesterday. Does it have anything to do with it?
It has, but it's not the purpose, or it's not the reason.
Okay.
Because the eclipse that happened in America showed that it is impossible for us anywhere in the world to see the moon at that time. Because if we are to see them, to sight the moon, the crescent, it means there was crescent in the sky. And by that time, by yesterday night, there wasn't crescent on the sky. And that is why it is possible to see the eclipse in America. We have to, if we want to understand this, we have to understand what is eclipse.
Okay.
It is a situation where the universe that we are living on, the sun and the moon, become in a row, in a line, in one single line on the equator, that we cannot see one. If it is lunar eclipse, that means the sun now is in between our world and the moon.
Okay.
We cannot see the sun clearly because of the moon.
Right.
And if it is solar eclipse, that means the moon prevented our eyes to see the moon clearly. So if the moon and the sun were combined, were together at that time, how can we visit? See it here, sight it here. That is this thing.
Great. All right, now let's talk about Salah celebration. Now, after today, Ramadan fast is over. So then you have the Eid. I know that there are two Salahs. The one is the Eid al-Fitr, and then the other one is the Eid al-Kabir. So I hear that one is the small Salah and the other one is the big Salah. And then some people will say, okay, please keep my ram meat tomorrow. But then I hear my Muslim friends telling tomorrow is not for big Salah, it is the small Salah. So help us understand this, especially for that viewer who is waiting for ram meat tomorrow.
No, there is no ram meat tomorrow because we are not slaughtering animal in this feast.
Okay, so what's the difference between the both of them?
The difference is that this one is celebration that marks the end of Ramadan.
Ah, okay.
So it has no that there wasn't any teaching about slaughtering animal. But the other one, we are celebrating the rights taught by Abraham alayhi salam.
Okay.
And you know, Abraham attempted by the commandments of the Lord to slaughter, according to the Bible, it was Isaac.
Yes.
But according to us, it's Ishmael.
Okay.
So, but the Lord ransomed him with a ram.
Yes.
And he slaughtered the ram. So that is what we celebrate. That's the essence of slaughtering ram on that day.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
Okay. All right. So there's a quote I read when I started, and then someone actually says sins take you away from Allah, but Salah takes you back to Allah. How true is this?
Very true. But what is Salah?
What is Salah? Really?
That's the problem. Now we are talking about Salah as a feast, as a festival. But what are we doing every day? 5 daily prayers, it called also Salah.
Oh, okay. So there's a difference.
There is difference.
And imagine, we always think that Salah is the feast.
No, we call it Salah because there is a prayer, a worship that is attached to the festival.
Okay.
We go to the Eid ground to pray, to do Salah, and that is why we call it Salah.
Okay.
And in the next 1 hour or two, we are going to assemble in a congregation or individual prayer
Okay.
And that is Salah also.
Okay. Okay.
Now he is telling us that if we sin, our sin disconnect us from Allah. But when you go and pray, when we do Salah, that is, we go and pray, we are now reconnecting ourselves to Allah. Because it is one of the essence of the daily 5 prayers.
Okay.
And that is why it is compulsory to read the first chapter of the Quran in every standing of the worship. And in it, we said, guide us to the right path. That is, we are now trying to be guided and return back to Allah. That is the essence of that quote.
All right, so now let's talk about the essence of Salah as the feast. Is it, I hear some people say that, oh, I don't have money to buy, when it's time for the big Salah, I don't have money to buy ram, or I don't have money to buy cow, so I'll just go and manage with my friends. And then when it's the small Salah, some people say I don't have money to buy anything. Especially, I saw on Daily Trust this morning saying that the market has shrinked because a lot of people are not buying things for Salah. So is it compulsory that you have to celebrate that Salah Feast?
Yeah, it is compulsory to celebrate.
Okay.
But in your own way.
Ah, okay.
If you don't have money to buy meat, the most important thing is to feed your family very well that day.
Oh, great. Okay.
Somebody don't even have the family. He is alone. Then he can now manage with what he has.
Okay.
If you can change or bring a new dress to your family to celebrate the feast, it's good for you to do that. Okay. But it is not compulsory. The compulsion is to be happy, to show your happiness, to celebrate with people, to show them that you are happy today because of the celebration.
All right.
That is compulsory. But to change your meal, the quantity or the quality, and to change your clothes to a new one is not compulsory.
Right. All right, let's round off this conversation. It's actually been very interesting, about our time is fast spent. As we begin to round up, like I said, this morning, Daily Trust says that the market is no longer as screaming as it used to be during this season, because by now you'd have started seeing people trooping in and out of the market to prepare for tomorrow's feast. But it's already, that's the situation we find ourselves in, especially in Nigeria. So what are your last words to not only the government, because I hear you say during your tafsir, that's what you talk to government on, how they can better the lives of Nigerians. What are your last words to the government, especially on this day? And what are your last words to even the Muslim brothers and sisters, or Nigerians entirely, even non-Muslim brothers and sisters?
Well, my words to Nigerians, let's persevere and let's adapt with the situation. You know, adaptability is very important.
Right.
To cope with the situation. Yes, there is inflation. There is little money in hands. But still, people are wasting, are becoming extravagant. Let's change our way of doing things so that we can adapt with the situation. And let's persevere and be patient. To the government, let them know that they have to praise the Lord and glorify Him for having a country like Nigeria to lead. It's very easy to lead because it is in Nigeria that you can increase the tariff of anything and nothing will happen. People will be suffering, nothing will happen. But let them know this is a signal that when you are pushing a dog, when you are chasing a dog, if it comes to the end of the way it will turn to you. I'm afraid. Let them think that way. What if the masses of Nigeria find no way to go anymore and turn back to them? It is very difficult to be controlled. So let them start thinking of how to change the narratives of the scenario, the situations. Yes, we have to renew our hope. This is their new slogan, renewed hope. Yes, we have hope. But how long shall we be patient? Why is it there is no reform in the cost of governance? If the masses are suffering and the cost of governance is not reducing, people are embezzling the resources of the country. Let them think that it is their duty to change the situation, to improve the economy, to bring down the inflation, to make things easier for the masses. One of the things that is the causes of these things is insecurity.
Right.
Let them address the issue of insecurity.
Right. So I hear you say that Nigerians are the most, they are the best people to govern, or easiest people to govern.
Of
but
course.
the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, does not believe in that, because before he left, he said Nigerians are the most difficult people to manage.
He made it difficult for himself to govern them.
Ah, really?
Yeah, of course, because of his policies. That's why he sees Nigerian very difficult to govern. But tell me, in this world, a country that you can reduce, you can increase fuel price and increase it, and then increase electricity tariff, even without the electricity, in less than 1 year, and the country will be quiet. Tell me which country will do that in the world.
Yes, definitely. So I'll leave that as a food for thought for our viewers. Before we let you go, let's have you pray for Nigerians and also for the Muslim brothers and sisters who are already ending their fasting and then looking forward to the Salah.
Well, we ask the Almighty to intervene positively in Nigeria, to guide our leaders, to show them the way, and help our youth, show them the truth. And we ask him to end the insecurity in Nigeria and bring down the inflation and reform our economy. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala mursalin. Alhamdulillah.
Great. Thank you so much, Sheikh Nuru Khalid, the Digital Imam. It is always a pleasure having these discussions with you and conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Thank you.
Great. All right, viewers, that's where we end our conversation for today. We have been chatting with Sheikh Nuru Khalid, who is a Muslim cleric, and he is referred to as the Digital Imam. So whenever you see him around, just call him the Digital Imam or just say hi to the Digital Imam and he will definitely respond. Thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations to our Muslim brothers and sisters. It's been a very wonderful Ramadan fast, and we're looking forward to the Sallah Feast and the Salah celebration. And we from KAFTAN Television, we all wish you the best of the season. My name is Annabelle Oji. God bless you and yours. God bless Nigeria, and happy Eid al-Fitr.